It's only 7 o'clock in the evening, it's definitely going to be bright enough to quickly film a video before bed. No, I live in England, the world doesn't work like that. A storm is a-brewing and it's blooming dark, so apologies for this halo, but here's my book review of The Raven Boys. This is a whizzy quick book review for me. It's important, I think, to say right from the start that listen to this as an audiobook. If you haven't seen my video on my audiobook experiences, then go check it out because they are closely linked. This is the only story I've ever listened to as an audiobook. I'm not exactly sure how to summarise the story, if I'm honest, but basically there's this girl called Blue who lives in a family who have lots of psychic abilities, and then there's this guy called Gansey, quite rich, goes to a posh school with some other boys. They all meet up to discover magical things and life gets exciting. I'm sure there's probably a better synopsis than that, but I never read one before I read it. That just went straight in and started listening to the story. Didn't know a thing other than a booktuber I like had read it and loved it. So for me, I guess, having taken into account what I just said, that I didn't know anything about this book when I read it, if I'm honest, I thought it'd be okay, but I didn't think it would be anything I loved, and actually I think it exceeded that expectation. The story for me was a big positive. I kind of, as I said, I didn't know anything about the story when I decided to listen to it. I just knew it was a YA thing and I expected a kind of quite bland and straightforward story about, you know, teenagers in love, I expect. But actually this has got quite a lot of mystery to it, historical elements, magical elements, fantasy elements, and I kind of liked it. It was probably not a story I would have read if I'd known what it was about, but it was nice to step out my comfort zone and read something that was quite sort of magical, fantastical. Another sort of half positive, half negative. The positive is that I really liked the mix of characters. It felt like they were all really different, really unique. Unfortunately, I found them all really irritating. There were none that I really felt connected to. Adam, I quite liked Adam and thought I was going to really get him, but later in the book he just sort of fell apart for me. And yeah, I guess I didn't feel a connection to any of the characters, and that was a negative for me. The other major negative for me was that I found the ending to be very anticlimactic and flat. I have a slight suspicion that this is more to do with the fact that it's an audiobook, and I have a sneaking suspicion that I perhaps wouldn't have felt that way if I had been reading it. I felt that it built up a lot round about the middle of the story. It had quite a nice start and it built up quite quickly and was quite exciting, but then I think it just went on for too long and then it built up to this grand finale event which just wasn't that exciting for me. So overall, on Goodreads I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I feel that's probably a little bit harsh. I see in my head a 3.5 more than a 3. I think I probably will read the next book in the Raven cycle. Having heard such good things about it, there is a part of me that thinks me and audiobooks just didn't really work, and I would be really interested to read the next as a hard copy of a book, read it as a physical book, and see whether that makes a difference, whether I connect with the characters differently, or I follow the plot better and feel it's much more exciting. So in my head, I am going to read the next book. God knows when, but I will definitely read a physical book and see if that makes a difference. If not, I can't see myself going any further with the series. If you've read The Raven Cycle, please, God, leave me a message, because I feel like I just need some convincing to read the rest. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.